alert from them saying that there are going to be strong thunderstorms, possible hail, winds up to 40 to 50 miles per hour heading to the loop within the next half hour. That was about a half hour ago, so I got to think that at this point that weather's about ready to come down, no?
Well, one of the things I thought was really interesting is the fact that police have been moving new police up to the front, taking tired police officers, moving them further to the rear where they're getting water, they're taking off their heavy gear, they're beginning to cool off and relax a little bit, and they bring fresh guys up to the front. And so, but the protesters are not having the benefit of being able to do that. So they're wearing them down little by little. And as you can see, they are really quieting down now, and it's become much calmer. I think with a good hard rain, you're going to see even more people decide to leave and say, you know, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? And so I think that it's evident that police are in control. They have clearly taken over the situation and shown their
But the protesters still holding their ground. I mean, they're still locking arms right there, creating that row in front of police. And what we haven't seen, as you said, in the last 5 minutes or so, we haven't seen them get in the face of the officers, yelling at them, you know, trying to push back at the officers. Julie Unruh has had a bird's eye view all afternoon long of these protesters and police. Julie, what are you seeing now? Have you noticed a difference in the last 10 minutes?
Everybody holding their ground, as you say, and I have to tell you, again, it feels like those moments that is the calm before the storm. We've had a few of those for sure all afternoon. This is one of those times. There is a clear path between police standing and the protesters standing. Something's about to happen. Something's going to give. An order will be given, or the protesters. I don't know which side the order will be given from, but we're waiting for something to happen here soon. Again, it seems to be a small amount of protesters left here, but they are not a weak bunch. This is a fiery group. They are tired. They are hot. And yes, the hail and the rain would sure be nice right about now. I bet police would love.
Okay, we've lost Julie Unruh. We have to tell folks that we are on a kind of a cellular phone kind of reception, so we could lose our shot any minute. It could freeze up, so just bear with us. Julie, if you'd like to continue, please do.
Do you hear me now, guys?
Yes, we do.
Okay, great. So again, it's a small amount of protesters that are remaining here, and what we have are Illinois State Police now on the other side of a median here on East Cermak. So you've got right in the center officers with their blue helmets and their riot gear on, and then standing behind them in a different type of formation, facing west, are Illinois State Police, probably 12, 15, 16 rows deep. Again, what the order or the call is going to be at this point is unclear. But as you circle back to protesters hitting the front lines with officers, that is what we're waiting to erupt in just a matter of minutes. Again, what we've seen in the past, you all have been watching it with me, is a pushback from one side or the other, the scuffle, 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 the push, 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 and then the crowd goes back. The metal barricades are all back where they belong, along the side of the sidewalk. You've got officers, again, in riot gear. On the outside of that metal barricade, which means all the protesters are on the inside of that. Many of the protesters having their earplugs in right now, because there was certainly rumor that we were going to have the big sound machine come through that would clear this crowd in an instant. We have yet to see that called for, but we are seeing Illinois State Police across the street starting to move now as they head west. Again, we're just sort of in a holding pattern right now, and Gary McCarthy standing right with his men and women.
Yes, he has been there the entire time, we have to say, kind of large and in charge, pretty much, making sure that his men and women are being taken care of and that things are happening as they should be. We do see him going in the back a little bit right now. I don't know if he's going to address the other people who are back there in force, but he seems to be there as a force to be reckoned with. But I should also say, we've been talking about this weather, that you see a lot of the debris being blown around, so the weather is to come.
Yeah.
One of the things you see Gary McCarthy doing is, you have to remember, he's a New York guy who came here to Chicago to take charge. But one thing, he's replacing a guy who wasn't too well liked by the rank and file of the Chicago Police Department. As a police officer himself, McCarthy is out there. He is showing that he's showing that he's one of the guys. I'm out here in the trenches with you. I'm not even wearing a bulletproof vest. I'm not even carrying a gas mask. And so I'm here with you on the front lines.
That New York kind of veneer.
And we've even seen shots of him patting some of the officers in the back, saying, "Good job, you know, keep it going." So yeah, absolutely, he's trying to work with these officers.
Okay, before we go to Tom Negevin, it's almost 6 o'clock here. We've been sticking with this for, what, an hour or two now about what's been going on?
Yeah.
Hour and a half or so. It's almost 6 o'clock. At 6 o'clock, we would like to welcome our viewers from CLTV to let them know that this is coverage of the protest, the anti-war rally, the protests that have been going on. And it is 6 o'clock straight up right now. Welcome to the CLTV viewers. Let's go back to Tom Negevin, who was in the fray right in the middle of what's going on. Tom.
Yeah, the fray all right. I'm not supposed to know that the right is pushing his ball back. Protesters here. A little slowly. I mean, they know it for the most part. They understand. I don't know if you hear the shouting going on around me.
What are they saying, Tom?
Hey, ho, ho. Something's got to go. I'm not sure what's got to go, but the something's got to go. And I'm able all of us are going to be going here pretty soon. There's going to be some tear gas if we don't. But basically, I'm in a crush of protesters and media squared off with police, and the police are just moving us forward step by step. A line of officers walking forward slowly, and they're not, inclined to wait if you don't feel like getting out of the way. So that's crowd control. It's basic. They're just moving along a line at a time. I'm not sure at what point you lost me the last time we spoke, but I was on a roll there. Did I mention that there are other law enforcement? There's law enforcement support, masks nearby. Did you get that part?
Yes, we did, Tom. That you had spoken with your friend?
Yeah, I haven't spoken with them, but we've been texting. He heard we're here. They know very well what's going on, and they're around in case they need to be called in to become a part of it. But I'm still seeing this. Just it speaks to what you said about the numbers of people that you were seeing, Bob, earlier from the high angle shot we have. It's a number of protesters that I didn't believe would still be here at this stage. I cannot believe that given the opportunity. I know you got a cause. You've got stuff that you want to say. There's a time and a place to say it. This is neither that time nor that place. The police are serious. And I'm seeing a guy just walked behind me. I think he's got his underwear over his face. It's black, and he's masked. As best as can be. He's walking the wrong way. He's walking toward the riot police. I don't think the message has been fully sent.
Yeah, Tom, I think you have to get in the mind of protesters at this point. How far are they willing to go to get their point across? But then you also have to think, it's beyond the point now. Now it's just back and forth, back and forth. Are they making a point? Are people listening to them saying, oh, they're really getting their message heard, or they're just kind of taunting police, and it's like a give and take type of situation that really, in some places, some people may think is unnecessary.
Yeah, Mikey, you make an absolutely brilliant point, because there really may be a perception among the protesters that there's going to be some give and take. Okay, I wish I could send you this picture right now. There's a young lady with her goggles on in case there's tear mask, a surgical mask over her face to conceal her identity in case, I guess, there's tear gas. A bandana, the American flag on her head, dressed in black, making peace signs with both hands, and nose to nose with a row of police officers. At this point, can't really move without pushing her, without hurting her. Pat Grimes, our producer, and Jordan Bogart were here. Are you getting that shot? You see that girl right there? I mean, it's unbelievable. Actually, I worked my way all the way back to Dan Funface's position, and it's quite dramatic. The length, as you say, these protests are willing to go to. She's risking injury right now, but I suggest it's not too big a risk with all the cameras around. I think there's still an opportunity for her to send her message about NATO, her message against war, her message pro-peace. She sees that opportunity, and she's seizing it right now.
And we talk about these protesters and the endurance that they have. You talk to them out there. These are almost like expert protesters. They go to every event, whether it's here or in Florida or anywhere else around the country, Washington, D.C. I mean, they do this over and over again to the point where I talked to them yesterday, and they have code for certain things that they do. So, for example, if they're marching underneath a tunnel, they start screaming and yelling. It's almost like their profession. So it's almost not surprising to hear that they're willing to stand their ground and hold their ground for hours on end and march for 6, 7, 10 hours if they have to.
We're looking at a protester right now with his gas mask on, so he's like, bring it on. We're ready to withstand anything that you've got coming our way.
But a lot of them are standing way back in the rear too, and it takes two different kinds of people. The ones who can stand in the back and shout and point the finger and that sort of thing, and the guys who get way up front and go nose to nose.
Front line,
And those people are few. And once they get those real troublemakers out, the crowd subsides. and you get control of it easily, and that's what you're seeing happening here now. They got the real roughnecks out
The
here
leaders,
early.
the leaders of the group. Once you get them, the others will recoil and go back.
The ones who were trying to be seen and make a name for themselves, they got them out of it.
Tom, is it your impression that they're getting ready to use tear gas anytime soon? Because we've been seeing officers taking off the tear gas masks to putting them on, taking them off. Anything that you can tell us from that end? I don't know if we're on a delay with Tom as well. All right,
guys, I can hear you great. Come if you want to.
No, my question to you was that the fact that we have been seeing officers putting on the mask, taking them off, is there any indication to you at this point that they're getting ready to...
Let me say this.
Go ahead, Bob.
One thing that's happening here now is they're bringing in the large wagons. Those are the pictures you're seeing. And
to
those,
make arrests, yeah.
if they have to, they can quickly get people into those large paddy wagons and get them out quickly. So if they want to make large-scale arrests, they are prepared to do that, and they've just brought in the vehicles to do it with.
Julie, can you see from your vantage point those wagons that are being brought in?
Are you talking to me, y'all? I'm
yes,
sorry.
Julie. That's okay. I understand you got a lot going on out there.
We do. We have a couple distractions out here, but what we're seeing right now are two squadrons pulling in. I think Bob's the one that called it. Absolutely being brought in to do what they are designed to do, and that's lock people up when they need to. Zip ties. You can see the red zip ties on the turtle vests of these Chicago officers right on the front line. Here's a gentleman trying to throw himself in front of that police vehicle, and police are not allowing for it. It's going to be a quick
these people will not
escape route for him.
So he'll go away. You can kiss him goodbye.
Now,
and
if you look
anybody
right
else
there,
who steps up there.
It's almost like, you know, he saw the wagons come, okay, I'm going to be arrested, here I go. And again, I bring up the point, are they making their point? Do people see this as the protesters really wanting to get their word out, or just causing controversy?
Yeah. And are the NATO leaders even paying attention? Although at this point it's 6 o'clock, the NATO summit wrapped up at 5 o'clock, so I guess you could say that some of these leaders are in their hotel rooms possibly watching TV. Likely or not, who knows, but that's what some of these protesters are hoping for.
They went to dinner.
They went to dinner, yeah.